So let me start with the basic question. What is ServiceNow and why it is used? ServiceNow is an American software company headquartered in California, and they have their own cloud-based tool that will act as a software as a service or platform as a service, which we usually call by the acronym SaaS or PaaS. The company was founded in 2003 and has presence in many countries all over the world, including India. And what matters to us more is that there are many MNCs, mid-sized companies, startups, etc. across the globe who plays the role of implementation partner for their cloud-based tool called ServiceNow. To name few of them, we have Accenture, Cognizant, Infosys, IBM, TCS, Wipro, HCL, L&T, Tech Mahindra, Atos, DXC, Enable PS, Service Line Solutions, EY, KPMG, Deloitte, PwC, and the list further goes on. Now, before we go deep into the tool, let me just say why we need to learn ServiceNow and what makes it a hot chocolate in the market. ServiceNow is a tool that implements IT service management, IT business management, IT operations management, hardware asset management, software asset management, governance, risk and compliance. Then we have human resource management system, custom applications, customer service management, etc. And it goes on. And everything they do is from the cloud, and that is why it is a market leader as an enterprise service management tool. ServiceNow is a top leader in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for many years of the above mentioned suits for the past few years. And it continues. The main reason for it being is that it is based on cloud. So none of the customers need to manage or worry about the servers, network, security, or any other infrastructure. All they need to have is or know is a URL and credentials for it. And they just need to have an internet browser and, of course, an internet connection. Another important reason for it is being the market leader is its yearly subscription model. So customers don't need to pay the full amount initially. They just need to pay it yearly based on the usage. And if they're not using all of the suites, they don't need to pay for it. So let's take an example of IT operations management, beneath which we have many other modules as well. So if they're not using ITOM, they don't need to pay the license for it, or they don't need to buy the license for it. So in short, the customers will only pay for what they are using. So as I had already mentioned, ServiceNow has many suites which it supports. And if you take an example of any customer, if they're not using 5 suites out of all available suites, they don't need to pay for it. They just need to pay the money for the suites which they are using, or the products or modules within ServiceNow which they are using. And they have to pay it on an yearly basis, so they don't need to pay the full money initially. Just need to pay it based on the usage. And this is very much important for any transition and transformation projects. And at any point of time in future, if they feel like, or if any customer is feeling like we don't need service now, we need to use something else, they can simply drop the plan and try to adapt to a new tool, because they will be not they haven't paid the full amount initially. They just paid the implementation partner's fees and the yearly subscription they're paying. So that's all about the payment part. Now let's start with the tool, or let's go a little deep. Let's do a little deep dive into each of the suites which ServiceNow supports. Now let's talk about ITSM. Okay, so now let's take an example as you're working in an organization, and on any day if you're going to office and you see like your Outlook isn't working, what you'll be doing is obviously you'll be raising a ticket with the concerned team, and in many cases you won't be knowing which team to pass the ticket to, but you'll be raising it. And there may be cases where many of your colleagues are also facing the same issue. They will also raise tickets, and these tickets we call it as incidents, and this will be managed through a module in ServiceNow called incident management. The beauty of it is that you don't need to worry about which team is managing that, or you don't need to worry about the history of it. So in past, where we are not having any ITSM tools, or where we are not having any tool for implementing or managing incident management, what we used to do is we'll just write a mail, or we'll just call the IT team, or we'll just write a mail saying that, boss, my Outlook isn't working, you need to fix that. They'll be waiting for a few days, or they may be waiting for a few hours, and they'll be passing it to another team. They may still pass it to another team, and it goes on. And finally, after multiple, you'll be getting multiple reminders, and many times you won't be noticing it. So all these things will get lost in novel. So basically what happens is the tracking is not done. So initially from the point where the ticket was raised till the point where it was resolved, or we don't know what exactly was done to resolve it. So everything is lost in some place. And through the introduction of IT service management tools or incident management modules in IT service management tools, we'll be having that trackability or traceability, which we usually call it as. Okay, so now let's say I had created a ticket, I had created an incident. So I'll be able to know the status of the ticket, to which team it is assigned to, how many reminders are sent, what was the action taken on that to fix that issue. Everything will be stored in that incident management for that specific record, in that specific incident management or incident record. That is the beauty of incident management. And ServiceNow does it in a very beautiful way. It manages it quite beautifully. The form layout, the list layout within which all these things are detailed was very beautifully done. And this is all about incident management. Now I said, like, there will be multiple people having the same issue, and they also will be raising the same incident. Now let's say problem management module in detail. So there will be multiple people in the organization who are facing the same issue. So for the teams working in the backend to fix those issues, it will be a generic problem. It's no more an incident to them, but a bigger problem. All these problem management tickets will be handled through problem management module in ServiceNow. There will be different teams working on those kind of tickets. So for incident, it will be different set of teams, and problem management, it will be another set of teams. And for fixing this problem, they might need to change something in the backend. Let's take an example as a server or a network device. They need to change it in the backend, and these changes will be done or handled through change management module. Now let's look into request management module. An employee may need to raise requests for multiple things during his tenure in the organization. He may need to raise a request for a bus pass, a food pass, or a laptop, etc. All these things will be catered or handled through what we call it as request management module in ServiceNow. Likewise, we have knowledge management. So all these things, the incident management, problem, change management, request management, these all are comprising to make what we call it as IT service management or ITSM in ServiceNow. If you talk to someone outside the world about ServiceNow, everyone will be simply saying ServiceNow is a ticketing tool, or ServiceNow is a tool to achieve ITSM. But what can be done through ServiceNow in the area of enterprise service management is much beyond that. ITSM is just the beginning of ServiceNow. Now let's talk about IT operations management, or ITOM. How will organizations manage their own configuration items, which may be hardware or software? Any organization will be having many of the hardware or software items. ServiceNow has its own discovery, which will scan the entire customer network, and it will build a database of all these configuration items in the organizations, and it is called configuration management database. ServiceNow can automate many of the tasks using orchestration. Uh, to quote an example, let's say an employee got on board into the organization, and his details need to be entered in the Active Directory. So this can be done through ServiceNow. So ServiceNow will do the job in the Active Directory. So it will reduce the manual effort. It can be automated. Adding an employee in the Active Directory, modifying an employee, removing an employee. So everything in the Active Directory, which is not managed by ServiceNow, which is a different tool itself, like Microsoft Azure Active Directory. So those tasks in those Active Directory can be automated through ServiceNow through orchestration. Then we have service mapping. Then we have cloud management. So these all things comprises to make IT operations management, or ITOM. Now let's see ITBM, or IT business management. In ITBM, we have application portfolio management, we have project portfolio management, then we have finance management, and etc. Now let's see APM in detail. So any organization will be having multiple applications running within them. and these applications need to be maintained or stored in a central repository, and that need to be, or the data regarding these applications need to be displayed to someone who will be actually making the decision regarding applications, which one to use, which one to avoid, which one to renew the license and all. So for that, we'll be having a dashboard called APN dashboard. So whenever he or she opens the dashboard, the data will be refreshed automatically, and they can actually see all the data related to all the applications running in the organizations, through which they can make any decision regarding how the business should be running, or actually they need to make decision regarding which applications to avoid or which applications to keep. So all these things are done through application portfolio management. And similarly, we have project portfolio management, which is actually used for managing data related to any projects. And this will be basically used by organizations who are running multiple projects. They need to manage project data like project timelines, project financials, timesheet, etc. All this will be handled through PPM. Then we have finance management. And basically, this ITBM suite is used by people who are playing the role of managers and above, because they are the people who are making the decision regarding how the business should be running. And this can be obviously seen by any other people, let's say people who are managing applications and all. But many of them will be playing the role of managers or leaders. And this is all about ITBM. Now we have human resource service management. So let's say, starting from onboarding an employee to offboarding, there are many activities which are related to HR. Those can be beautifully managed through HRSD. Now let's see GRC module, or governance, risk and compliance module. One major use case behind this is ServiceNow will be scanning the entire customer network, and it will find anomalies that may cause potential issues in future. So potential issues in the sense issues that haven't yet occurred. So issues haven't yet occurred, but ServiceNow has identified it even before that. That is the beauty of it. This can actually save millions, right? And the data will be presented to the user or the people who are watching it in real time in a nice view or in a dashboard centric view. So every data will be presented in a dashboard view, so that user doesn't need to switch between tabs or switch between windows at any point of time. This is the beauty of GRC module. And then apart from that, we have custom applications for any customer can build any custom applications that is specific to them. So let's say, I will quote an example of an application which we built recently, which was related to, e-learning courses, where faculties can actually, register for what courses they can give training, and students can actually register for what courses they need training. And this all will be handled, or this all will be managed in a central portal view. Okay, so they don't need to know about the backend what's happening, but they can actually view it. They'll be actually seeing a portal where all the details will be handled. Then we have software asset management, we have hardware asset management, everything. So there are many other areas or any other modules or suites which are coming under service now, but I will not talk about those now. So to give you an intro, we have IT service management, IT operations management, IT business management, HRSD. Then we have customer service management. Then we have custom applications. We have software asset management, hardware asset management, etc. And now let's focus on why ServiceNow is a huge success in all of these areas. Okay, so one major factor for ServiceNow's huge success is its twice yearly new release, which will enhance the existing features and adds new features. So twice in any year they'll be releasing one new release. I mean, like once in 6 months there will be a new release, and they name it with the name of cities. Like the recent release is Paris, previous was Orlando, and before we were having Madrid, New York, etc. Okay, and one more important factor is, ServiceNow has or supports lots of integration capabilities, which will make it easy to do the job in ServiceNow from any other tool. So let me quote another example over there. Just imagine how convenient it will be for creating an issue or creating an incident or creating a ticket from your own WhatsApp or your own Telegram. Just imagine it, okay? That's the beauty of ServiceNow. And we will be having mobile applications, for any customer we can build the mobile applications, and almost everything can be handled through mobile applications. Of course, there are many things which are web specific or window specific, but for an end user, to speak in terms of an end user, there are many things which can be handled or done through the mobile. That's the beauty of it. And you just imagine, just creating a ticket or just placing a request from your WhatsApp. You need something, you need a system, you're newly onboarded into the organization, you need a system, and you're just doing it through your WhatsApp. And you're getting all the details, and later, in future, any update related to that, any approval, and till its closure, till the request is completed, all the updates you're getting through WhatsApp. How beautiful, how great it will be. That's the beauty of ServiceNow. And and one more important feature is ServiceNow has lot of methods which it supports for integration. Let it be SOAP, REST, then we have JDBC connection, which is database connections actually, and imported connections. There are many areas. There are many areas within integration which ServiceNow support. And one more important feature or one more important factor for ServiceNow huge success is the level of machine learning and artificial intelligence that ServiceNow is bringing into it, and through which we have virtual agents and predictive intelligence. Then we have another major feature as for reporting and dashboard is performance analytics. ServiceNow has its own has built its own reporting and dashboard tool, and this performance analytics is another paid plugin. But what it does is it can picturize the future through the trends in graphs. It will be taking the previous data, the current data, and then it will say in future this is gonna happen. That's the beauty of performance analytics, and it has its own reporting and dashboard tool. And now let me just conclude by just mentioning another related factor contributing to its huge success. It's how fast they are evolving. So let's take an example of ServiceNow first release. Starting from it was Aspen, then we have Berlin, Calgary, etc. And now it's Paris. So started from 2003 till now we have this much releases. So it shows how fast it is evolving, and in every release, trust me, they are just bringing up at least a new feature, and they are enhancing many existing features. Now, to name few, now ServiceNow is moving from low code environment to no code environment, so which makes it actually easily configurable. So when we talk about ServiceNow, if some customer is buying ServiceNow license and they are giving it to an implementation partner for implementing, they'll be having their own requirements. But there are many features which ServiceNow does support or just provide out of the box. And we as an implementation partner, we just need to configure it. Okay, we just need to configure it based on the customer requirement. Customer will be having specific requirements and we just need to configure it. Okay, and that configuration will be very easy if you know the basics or if you know the concepts, because ServiceNow does support a lot of features out of the box. And from in future or in recent future, the target is to move from low code environment to no code environment, and that's the biggest benefit of ServiceNow, because many or almost all features will be available out of the box. And if we need something extra, we just need to customize it, or which we actually term it by customization, for something which you're building new. And if we are enhancing or if we are configuring the existing feature, we call it as configurations. Okay, and when we implement it, we just need to push the customer specific data and we just need to configure the customer specific requirement. And this will actually reduce the implementation time for any ServiceNow project from few months to few weeks. And this wasn't the case for any other tools in the past. Let's take an example of BMC Remedy. This wasn't the case. So this is all about ServiceNow. All about ServiceNow. I will not say all about ServiceNow. This is all about ServiceNow's intro. I just can't say this is an intro about ServiceNow. And I will just end this video by simply quoting the word by ServiceNow. Now works for you.